I was like, what's happening? Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that Colorado had a chance, a slight chance at the playoffs. That chance just opened up a lot more tonight in their bye week. Probably one of the most successful bye weeks the Colorado Buffaloes have ever had in their history of bye weeks in this particular standpoint. Last time we talked about it, they had one conference loss. They were nipping at the heels of 3 undefeated teams. After today, only 1 undefeated team remains, and Colorado sits perched right at that number 3-ish. Number 3-ish spot in the world of Big 12. And as we know in the new college football playoff, a championship win is an automatic bid. So even though the Big 12 seems to be Big 12ing, and if you're new to the Big 12, hey, don't worry. I'm a University of Texas fan. I know all about that wildness. All right. So the Red Raiders doing what they did is very big against Iowa State. What does that mean for Colorado's matchup with Texas Tech immediately next week? It means that these games that were just must win last week are even more must win, because now you have a Texas Tech game coming off of a win over at the undefeated top ranked Iowa State team in the Big 12. BYU is now the remaining undefeated team, and it looks like Colorado's destiny is in their hands. You went out here, you beat Texas Tech. I think they have Texas Tech left. They've got we'll get into that. I don't want to jump the gosh darn shark. We're gonna talk about that. Talk about the Big 12 standings. Talk about recap a quick of the Houston game against K-State, because K-State also lost too. That was the other undefeated. And then we're going to talk about Texas Tech winning against Iowa State. I watched a little bit of that game. That game was a classic Big 12 last second barn burner, and I loved every second of it. The only thing that wasn't Big 12 about it is that they didn't score 70 points each. But let's hop into it. So appreciate y'all watching these videos. Like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Please subscribe if you enjoy college football content. We'll get into it. First thing, we're on my favorite place in space, and that's Twitter. Bordeaux, the college football, the gamer dude. Apparently, he actually watches college football. No, I'm joking with you. Bordeaux is a great guy. What's it called? Here, he was kind of commenting on the Big 12 and how they're going to self-sabotage. And this is kind of something I alluded to, and he brought it up pretty well, right? Coming into this, Iowa State was undefeated and Kansas State was undefeated. I want to talk about this game, though, specifically, because Houston was one of the worst teams in college football. And just so you understand what I'm talking about here, from an offensive standpoint, okay, and we talk about Florida State a lot on this channel. Florida State is always like 130. There's 133 teams. 130, blah, 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 129, one of the worst. Houston is the 133. As you see, 133, worst in the nation when it comes to points a game. One of the worst in the nation when it comes to third down conversions. One of the worst when it comes to yards a game. Their defense is not as terrible. Number 41 in points a game. Number 19 opponents yards a game. But, you know, nothing elite there. Nothing that really pops out on the page. So that's what we're dealing with. That's what K-State was dealing with. They were dealing with a team who was, 3-5. Like, what are we talking about? They had no chance in the conference, and it seems that, pause this, please. And it seems like somebody got a little loose out there. I didn't want to get copyrighted. But yeah, man, Avery Johnson throws for 2 interceptions. I didn't get to watch this game, so please, y'all watch this one. Check this one out. I just thought this was extremely, extremely shocking. This is one of those games that nobody was paying attention to. K-State, great team, looked solid. They're going to handle Houston, who's struggling and can't get their footing together. We look back, and it seems that Houston handled business the way they need to handle business. They handled business late, too. Like, this is, like, on the wire in the 4th. But it is what it is. This was, look at, wow. In the Big A, this was a Big 12 game, too, huh? We had 2 Big 12. This game I was watching, I was in and out. I might have been playing zombies. Like, it's double XP weekend on Call of Duty, brah. Okay? Calm down. I'm still a 15-year-old at heart. But as I was peeking out the side of my peripheral, I was so confused because I was like, okay, Texas Tech just scored. Okay, but Iowa State is leading. Okay, but Texas Tech has the ball again. I was like, what's happening? And I looked up, and then Texas Tech with 12 seconds, I think, left, gets the touchdown. Shout out to the Red Raiders. By the way, I called y'all's new Adidas updates terrible because they were bland. They're not as bad as the bland Nike ones, so shout out to them. They look bad now. Just a complete side note. Phenomenal win from Texas Tech, but like I said, for Colorado, it makes their next game so much more important. So let's talk about that, right? They play Texas Tech this week. Now, perfect to come off a bye week. All right, they rested. Travis Hunter can get his break. Shedeur is cool. Everybody's good. They had some banged up parts on the offensive line. I know they had a new offensive lineman that they were trying to rotate in, and maybe he just gets the start. But this is a perfect situation to do, coming off these two solid wins where you really look dominant. You played some of the best consecutive games of football that we've seen from Colorado football. I know we talked about the best game was UCF. Well, the best consecutive games had to be Arizona and Cincinnati. And K-State was not even a bad game. Y'all are missing a lot of your starters, but we don't have to get into that. But Texas Tech at Texas Tech in Lubbock is, if you don't win this, we don't have a conversation, right? I know, look, Utah, Kansas, and Oklahoma State, these are going to be great wins, but I don't think that you can. We've looked at in my other video, and we're gonna talk about these comments here. We looked at everybody else's schedule. I was okay. So to be honest with you, now that I think about it, because when we talked about I said K-State had no more losses on their schedule, and the first thing K-State did was lose to Houston. So does K-State have any more losses on their schedule? At this point, I don't know what to say about the Big 12. So I think a lot of people, as I made this video, and I'm changing the video at this point. As I was making this video, I was like, okay, the basis of this video is that obviously, like I talked about, Colorado's path to the playoff has just gotten that much easier, right? It's in their own hands. All they need to do is really show up against Texas Tech. I'm not sure what the Utah team is. I don't think they need to show up, but that's at home. And then you need to show up against Kansas, okay? Now, hey, they play pretty good on the road, so I'm not too mad at them. But again, Texas Tech is going to be a little more fired up. I think they can handle it, especially watching that Texas Tech game that I can see. I think that they can handle it as long as that team that went against UCF, Arizona, and Cincinnati, as long as that team is there, none of these teams can beat them. And when I said that other thing, like I was alluding to, I was like, hey, none of these other teams have any real losses except maybe one or two. We got a bunch of different losses now, right? I mean, does Arizona State beat K-State? I don't know. Avery Johnson just threw 2 interceptions against Houston. It's the Big 12. Welcome to it. This is phenomenal. Can I take an aside? And just welcome to, if your team, if you're a previous Pac-12, or first off, appreciate the Pac-12 and what we now know as the Pac-2. Appreciate the service that y'all did because y'all had phenomenal times. Pac-12 After Dark. Thank you. Replaced by Mountain West After Dark. But the Big 12, if you're new to the game and your team is new, as my team has left to the SEC, I still have love for the 12, even though it's like 16 of y'all now. But regardless, the hallmark of Big 12 football is chaos, is absolute chaos. And I'm like, okay, I see every conference has chaos, but it's not like, let me say this specifically. The SEC has chaos, but it's like the usual suspects, right? It's the rivalry games. It's Florida, Georgia. It's Georgia Tech. Like, there's certain games that they're like, okay, this matchup, Tennessee, Alabama. Like, this is going to be a thing. Tennessee, Florida. Like, certain matchups in the SEC, they like to nip at each other. In the Big 12, you don't know where it's coming from, dog. You have no idea where it's coming from. You don't know if somebody's going to score 78 points or if someone's going to score 3 points. I'm sure the Big Ten is crazy in its own way. I know it is. SEC is crazy. Mountain West, the Pac-12. The Big 12 is like rolling a 17-sided dice. If you have 17 in your hand, though, at the same time, looking for an outcome. I don't know how to read that. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I can't do that. So when I say that, understand that is applicable to Colorado. So as much and as well as they played on the road against Texas Tech, I don't know. They just beat an undefeated Iowa State game. As much as I think Utah is completely lost without any identity and Colorado should just be able to roll them at home, I don't know. It's the Big 12. I'm not putting no money on that. Kansas should be dead in the water. Isn't Kansas aren't they a 3-loss team right now? Kansas is 2-6. And their only win is against Houston. The team that beat K-State. Lord have mercy. What if Kansas beats BYU? Oh gosh, I gotta stop thinking. The more I think, the worse it gets. Let's like I said, Colorado needs to be perfect. Do they have to be perfect? I don't know. BYU could lose to, oh my God. They could lose to Kansas. That would be hilarious. That would be phenomenal. But yeah, if you're watching this video this far in the video, please leave a comment. Let me know who you think is going to make the Big 12 championship, who and how many bids you think the Big 12 is going to have. It looks like they're just going to have one. As you see, TCU and Baylor, for no reason, are going back and forth. Guys, stop. It's over for y'all. Please. Tell them to stop. They're gonna make something worse. Them two gonna cause something to happen. I just don't want it to happen. Looking at the Big 12 football and look what happened to the landscape of Big 12 football, right? UCF rolls Arizona, making okay, cool. Mr. Harvey is playing like he was at the old time, but again, that Arizona defense is abysmal. Arizona State gets one over on Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is 0-6 in the Big 12. Very, very, very confusing team. Arizona State is 6-2. So although they're not looking that good in conference, they're 6-2, and Scatterboo gets to scatting. Like, and this is why I want to take a look at this. Like, Arizona State can beat some teams now. Who are we looking at? It was K-State, right? K-State can lose here. And if K-State loses to Arizona State, well, bye-bye. They're out of the conversation, right? Okay. BYU is the team, though. And we shouldn't really be banking on losses, especially if you're a Colorado fan. You really shouldn't be banking on a loss. But, look, BYU has to play a 2-6 Kansas, an Arizona State team with an elite running attack, and then Houston, who apparently just beat K-State. I don't know what to tell you anymore, dog. But if Colorado is fully in control of their ability, they can really seize the Big 12 here and do a lot of great things, man. And I think that's crazy because, oh, hold up, I had something pulled up. Where is it at? As you can see, not a lot of people felt that way when it came to the standings of the Big 12. These were the media preseason Big 12 for Colorado. Colorado at 11, and they are currently at number 3. That's tough. That's tough. Ranked for like the first time in I think 10 years or something like that, or 5 or 7 years, something like that. So crazy to see. Last thing we're gonna do is talk about these comments, man. Last thing we're gonna do is talk about the comments in my last video I made. The original was Colorado can actually make the playoffs, and this video is going to be ranked that Colorado's path to the playoffs just got easier. So read some of these comments, see how y'all felt, wrap it up. I appreciate y'all so much for watching this far. If you enjoyed it, please like it, subscribe, leave a comment down below who you got for the Big 12 championship. Do you think Colorado's a playoff team? Let me know. Likes, subscribes, bells, do all that stuff. But let's review these comments. I'm looking forward to us playing Cincinnati. It's definitely going to be a big test for how we are in conference play. K-State is a bit meh. We honestly should have won the game. Oh, this is before the Cincinnati game. I just realized that. Oh, wow. And they looked really good against Cincinnati. So this is good. The one thing Cincinnati missing is DJ Giddens. I'm not sure that a run game will be able to keep him in the game like they did for K-State. That will be the biggest difference maker next Saturday. Get Travis the ball in the running game, shovel passes. That was another big thing. And I know a lot of you Colorado fans hate when I say that, but over the last 2 games when they have run the ball and giving at least run the ball more than 25, 22 times, they've had success. They've been able to control games. But the running game is the key to Colorado's success. If they think they're going to do anything in the playoffs, they're going to have to not play Big 12 football, because no matter how explosive that offense is, and I think they can score with the best of them. Putting your defense in that, oh my goodness, go look up some classic Big 12 football. Go look up them 56-73 Texas Tech versus like please go look up these games. Like, defenses just they can't last if everyone's scoring that many points that fast, and that's what's going to happen. This is going to deteriorate your all the fast scoring is great, but even that can be detrimental to the world of college football and detrimental to how explosive some of these offenses. Sometimes being able to control a game is important. Why do you think Army's undefeated? They lost their starting quarterback and they kept rolling. It's about controlling the football game and controlling the momentum. And I predicted and I told them that's what they needed to do, and that they did something similar. Cincinnati and Texas Tech had a close game. If Colorado can lay belt on Cincinnati, they can take care of business against Tech. Hey, man, I wish I could say that, but now nobody knows. My man Kyle says Utah struggled big in the last 3. Cam Rising is a question mark. Cam Rising's out. They need BYU, Iowa State, and K-State to lose. It's definitely possible, but that Nebraska loss really looks bad. Well, looks like Iowa State and K-State have hit the bid. They really only needed those two, and they're set up pretty decently. So, again, y'all let me know in the comments. Will they make the playoffs? Do you have them as a playoff team? Who's going to win the Big 12 games? Man, I really appreciate y'all watching these videos, man, and enjoying college football with us. I know the season's almost coming to an end, but we got a whole new crop of different type of videos coming from here. So don't worry. Appreciate y'all. See y'all next time.